Here are the things you will be needing for this tutorial. You will need your pattern paper, you will need a marker or a pencil, a ruler, your scissors, your tape rule, and your French curve. Mine is broken, but it still does the job anyways. And you need your fabric. That's the fabric I will be using, as you can tell. One more thing, I will be using doll face to line my fabric. We'll be using a basic bodice pattern for this tutorial. I'm just going to walk you through the measurements that I used to create this pattern. At first, I started with the basic bodice pattern, which is the 3x3 neckline, and since my shoulder is 16, I used 8, and my bust line is 8 inches. Then my bust point is 10 inches. Note, the bust line is also known as the chest line or the armhole line. I'm going to be walking you through how you can calculate your bust line. You can calculate your bust line by dividing your bust by 6 plus 1.5 inches. For mine, I got 7.8. I decided to round it off to 8. That's why I added 0.2 inches. The next step is to create my armhole curve. I'm going to do that by getting half of the armhole area. Then I'm going to go in order to create the armhole curve by 0.5 inches. Go in by 0.5 inches. Then I'm going to use my ruler to connect from that point to the other point. You know how we do our basic bodies. Then I'm going to insert my bust measurement in order to create the armhole curve completely. My bust is 38 inches divided by 4 is 9.5. That's exactly what I'm marking right now. And then I'm going to connect using my curve. Okay, I hope you're not laughing at my curve, because it still does the job, but I'll try to get a new one. Yeah, that creates a armhole curve. Then on to the next step. The next step is to take the length of the top. This is going to be a crop top that I'm going to be pairing with a skirt that I made not too long ago. The top is going to be 16 inches in length, and I added 1 inch for turning allowance because I'm going to be turning it with the doll face, if that makes any sense. The next step is to input my waist measurement. My waist is 28 inches divided by 4 equals 7 inches, and that's what I just inputted. I'm going to connect from my bust line to my waistline. You can connect yours to the allowance point. I didn't do that now, but I'll still do that later, so you can as well just do it right now. Connect from your bust line to the allowance line. Okay, so let's go over the pattern again. Neckline, shoulder line, bust point, waistline, and hemline. So I'm just going to connect that little point I told you guys to connect the other time, because I said I was still going to do that. The next step is to add your allowance. As you can see, I added ½ inch. Guys, do not add ½ inch. Add 1 inch at the bust line area. Then for the waistline, I'm going to put a dart because I want it to be really fitted. I added 1.5 inches. Please just make yours 2 inches at that point. I think it's better. Mine wasn't bad, but I just feel it's better. Okay, if you want to actually fully turn the outfit with the lining, I think adding 1 at the bust line and adding 2 at the waistline is enough in order to accommodate the dart as well. Now let's create the neckline for our top. I want this to have a V-shaped neckline, and I want to show a bit of cleavage. Okay, so I am going to take my neck depth as 9 inches exactly on the bust line. Okay, then I am going to take my neck width as 5 inches. Okay, because I really want it to be, I don't want it choked up, I want it a bit free. So yeah, 5 inches, and I'm going to connect. You can use your French curve or you can use freehand like I'm doing to connect it to that point. Just, you know, create your v-neck as you please. Guys, I just created this top myself, not following any pattern, so you can actually just create the curve the way you would like it to be, you know, on you. I decided to go down by 9.5 inches instead of 9 inches, guys. I told you I actually wanted a bit of cleavage to show. So after thinking about it, I realized that that 9 inches might not give me the vibe I was going for. Guys, just do yours the way you would just want your v-neck to look like. If you don't want any cleavage, 8 inches is fine. You know, you get the gist, Abby. The next step is to take my dart on my waistline. I'm going to do that by dividing my nipple to nipple measurement by 2. My nipple to nipple measurement is 7 divided by 2, which is 3.5. I'm going to take half inch on both sides. The length of my dart is 3 inches. So I'm going to take half inch on both sides. That equals 1 inch. And I'm going to extend the dart leg to the hemline. Okay, moving on to the back pattern. Here I'm just going to try to extend the lines from the front pattern. I'm going to try to make it as straight as possible, and I'm going to label it as well. Just do what I'm doing, and you get the same result, if not a better result. Yeah, waistline, hemline. The neckline for the back pattern should be 3 by 1 or 3 by 3. I made a mistake that I later corrected. It was due to the fact that I was rushing. I'll just input my measurements the way they should be. The only difference is the fact that the back pattern, the armhole is different from the front pattern, which you will see how I'm going to draft it right now. Just do the same thing you did for the front pattern and the back pattern, aside from the armhole and the neckline. That's the only difference. After marking half of the armhole, here is how you connect your back armhole. It's just the same way you're seeing it on the screen. The front armhole is deeper than that of the back armhole. Okay, at this point, guys, just do the same thing you did at the front. The dart, the allowance, every single thing. We won't be needing the darts, but just do everything so you follow what I'm doing. As you can see, the back of this cloth is opened. Okay, the only thing I would be talking about right now is the neckline. Just do the same thing you did. Put the same amount of allowance, like I said. You know, it's the same allowance like I did. Use about 2 inches on the waistline and 1 inch at the bust line. Yeah, let's move on to the neckline immediately. The neck depth is 1 inches and the neck width is 3 inches. That is the standard. That's exactly what I'm doing. I'm yet to alter it, but we're going to alter it. But let's take a look at the back view of this top. Can you see? So let's get to altering our pattern. First step, come down from that neck depth by 4 inches. Okay, mark 4 inches. Then go down from the side seam by 4 inches as well, like so. Just do what you're seeing on the screen. Just follow the procedure and you'll get the same result, if not something better. Then use your meter rule to connect. Okay, at this point I'm going to make a correction. Do not make it this straight. Try to form a bit of curve. I am saying that because I noticed that it's gaping a bit. People won't really notice, but just try to make it curved so you can relax on your body. To ensure that the front neck width and the back neck width corresponds, we're gonna take in the 5 inches that we took at the front and connect it to the 1 inch neck depth. Okay, and the last thing we're going to do is to add half inch allowance at this back part. Okay, yeah, and that's all. So we're gonna cut through the pattern. Yeah, that's the next step. So let's cut through our pattern and get into sewing proper. Cut like I'm cutting. Do not make any mistakes. If you do, that is going to be a problem, definitely. So be very careful while cutting out your pattern. The next step is to cut our sleeves. Okay, I'm going to illustrate using a paper how I folded my sleeves. Okay, let's assume that the length of this paper is 60 inches and the width of the paper is 40 inches, because that's exactly what is on the fabric. Then we are going to fold the length part of this paper in order to get 30 inches in front and 30 inches at the back. Okay, folding this paper will give you 30 inches in front and 30 inches at the back. Then we're going to fold the width of the paper in order to get 20 inches in front and 20 inches at the back. So at this edge we have our center front. The folded region is the center front, while the divided region that is not folded is not the center front. This is the center front and this is not the center front. Okay, so let's go over it again. The width of the sleeve is 20 inches. Okay, you can make yours more. I'm making it 20 inches because I want to pleat the sleeve. Okay, and the length of the sleeve is 30 inches. Okay, now let's move on to cutting our sleeves. So at the edge that is not the center front edge, we're going to go down by 4.5 inches. Note, this is not the center front edge. Then we're going to connect it to the center front. We'll connect the 4.5 inches to the center front using a ruler. This chalk, I don't know why it's not really showing, so just follow what I'm doing. At some point I went in with a yellow chalk to see if it would be better. Then measure what you have on that line and divide by 3. I had 21 inches, so that means I was going to divide mine by 777, and that's exactly what I'm doing. At point A, which is closer to the center front, I will come out by 0.8 inches, and at point C, I'm going to divide point C into 2, which is going to be 3.5 inches, 3.5 inches, and I'm going to go in by 0.2 inches like so. Then at the center front, I'm going to come out by 0.8 inches and connect it to form a straight line. Okay, yeah, then I'm going to connect all these. Okay, I'm going to connect this 0.8 inches to the other 0.8 inches that came out, then connect it to the 0.2 inches. You guys just see how I'm connecting it. This 0.8 to the 0.8, then the other one will go to that 0.7, then go down to the 0.2 inches that I did initially. Okay, that's exactly what you're going to do. Yeah, if I'm cutting it, you also follow the same procedure. Okay, from the 0.8 to the other 0.8, from the 0.8 to the 0.7, and finally to the 0.2 inches at the other edge. Now we're going to go in with our scissors and cut our sleeves. Yeah, guys, just cut the way I'm cutting. So guys, we've finally come to the end of this pattern drafting. If you enjoyed watching, click the like button. The next video that I will upload on this channel is going to be the sewing version of this pattern drafting. Just encourage me by subscribing and by liking my video. I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.